So this problem says sketch a graph of the polar equation and identify any symmetry. So this is the equation we're going to graph. So the first thing we need is a grid, a polar grid, and we're also going to need an R theta table. And we could probably use two tables here. So then for this one, we're just going to start picking values. So we're dealing with cosine theta here. So we're just going to go every 45 degrees. And that should be sufficient for a nice graph, complete graph. So anyways, I'm going to plug in 0 for theta, and then I'm going to go pi fourths and pi halves. And I'm just going to keep going to fill this table up. So actually for this one, I didn't need to go two tables. I just needed the one by going by pi quarters. So now I'm just going to fill in those values. So again, cosine of 0 is 1. So that's going to be 1 times 2, which is -2. So 3 minus 2 is going to be 1. So then my first one is going to be a 1 here. So I'm just going to continue with this same pattern. And again, decimal approximations are going to be sufficient here because I'm graphing these. I don't want the square root of 3 over 2 because I can't graph that. So I'm just going to fill in the rest of this table. So now graphing these, I'm going to graph 0, 1. And then I'm going to graph pi fourths, 1.5. So there's that one. And then pi halves is 3. So that's there. And then 3 pi fourths. It's going to be 4.14, so that's there. And then at pi, it's 5. And then at 5 pi fourths, it's 3. Or not 3. 5 pi fourths is 4.14, excuse me. And then at 5 pi, or 3 pi halves, it's 3. And then at 7 pi fourths, it's 1.5. And then 2 pi, it's 1. So we end up back here. All right, so now if we graph that, that's going to be our picture. So there it is. That's our sketch of our graph. Now, is there any symmetry? Now, remember, we have to take it all into consideration. So we have to think of it as it's got to stay as a complete graph. And if I started here and I went around this way, excuse me, is that going to give me some symmetry there? I can see that this is my x here. I would have symmetry across the x because then I would map over here and get my other half of my graph. So this would be symmetric in the symmetry in the x-axis. So there's our answers for this one.